The moon landing. Humans in space. Much is speculated, little is known. The older generations might remember it as something they saw on TV, at least until their father threw a slipper at them and told them to put the game back on. The younger generations might vaguely remember something about a Buzz Lightyear and Neil arm wrestler from their history class during one of the rare moments they were awake for it. But what really happened? Did humans actually visit the moon? If so, how? Could the official story be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Could it have been an elaborate hoax, filmed in a secret Hollywood movie studio? Could the moon really be a piece of cheese, a subliminal marketing campaign by the dairy industry? While the subliminal marketing power of the dairy industry is doubtless, this is actually a trick question. Spaceflight? In the 60s? Give me a break. Everyone knows spaceflight wasn't possible until more recently, when philanthropic billionaires began selflessly sacrificing their justly, and most ethically, earned fortunes to not only lift rockets, but more importantly, spirits, filling the void in humanity in a way solving world hunger never could. No, the moon landing is not as they would have you believe. You conspiracy nerds can stop clapping, however. The moon mission still made it to the moon. Only they didn't use a rocket. They used a door. The moon mission started with a simple thought. If humans can leave the ground, why not simply fly higher? Unfortunately, the scientists at NASA quickly realized they needed a little more than rockets. Facing simultaneous budget cuts and unrealistic deadlines, NASA launched a Hail Mary division, that is. This secret division was tasked with reaching the moon by any means necessary. The Hail Mary division boiled the problem down to a single question. How does one grasp an object out of their reach? Why, they grab a ladder, of course. At first, the ladder seemed promising. They were cheap to make, and really tall. Then came the hitch. Steve. Every time the moon came by, he missed it, and inertia pulled the falling ladder into space. After just 2 attempts, NASA was forced to give up the ladder in fear of tipping off the Soviets. 1 ladder floating in space is a coincidence. 2 is suspicious. 3, 3 and they'd have to start tossing out some snakes with their ladders. Next came the trebuchet. A normal trebuchet sits flat on the ground and launches objects on a horizontal plane. But what if you tilted it 90 degrees so it shot straight up? Boom. Breakthrough. Of course, normal trebuchets are limited in their range. Certainly no moonshots. But what if you simply built a bigger one? NASA was salivating now. Unfortunately, they overlooked one key flaw: the purpose of trebuchets. They break stuff, not so great for living payloads or their captains. Let us observe a moment of silence for that brave astronaut, Doggo Doggerson, the one and only passenger of trebuchet flight, Apollo Roofteen. You may have been a retriever, but we will not be retrieving your shattered corpse from that new crater on the moon. If we could deliver a bone to you, we would, but you're kind of far away, so here's our thoughts and prayers. Rest in peace. With the trebuchet clearly out of the equation, NASA's Hail Mary division needed, well, a Hail Mary. It just so happened one of NASA's top scientists was having their house rebuilt after an unfortunate incident featuring a teenager, a blowtorch, and a misunderstanding of the word inflammable. This scientist drove to inspect their new house one day and encountered a slight problem. "Well, this is no good," the scientist cried. "I cannot get in. The foreman, he lied." For to his dismay, the scientist saw there was no door at all. Unlike most people, however, the scientist did not simply curl into a fetal position and cry. He observed the house without a door and drew a connection. Was his house problem not similar to NASA's problem? If a new door would allow him entry to his home, could the same not be done for the moon mission? Eureka! It took NASA a bit of time to get the prototype right, mostly because the scientists couldn't agree on an architectural style, Gothic or Victorian. But budget cuts eventually forced their hand, and a submarine hatch from the military surplus store had to suffice. Some questioned this purchase due to the catastrophic sinking of the altogether unseaworthy vessel, but they were quickly overruled. After all, the hatch had survived. It was everything else that had failed. Here's a fun trivia fact. The hatches you see inside sci-fi movies' spaceships are inspired by the moon door, the salvaged submarine hatch. If not for NASA's budget cuts, there's a good chance we might have seen a proud oaken door of Victorian design, or a noble redwood door of Gothic inspiration, in these fictional spacecrafts instead. With everything done, the astronauts suited up, gathered in the airlock, then opened the door. It worked like a charm. They stepped through to the surface of the moon with their equipment, posed for some photos, and planted the flag. When the mission was done, they returned through the door and destroyed it. According to international law, no one officially owns the moon, but the United States strictly abides by finders keepers and didn't want anyone messing with their flag. NASA rejoiced, and the Cold War was saved. Probably. While undoubtedly influential, the moon mission does pale in comparison to the time Canada beat the Soviets at hockey. Oh, Canada. The Hail Mary division went on to accomplish even greater feats, like creating that pen that writes in space. All off the record, of course. So yes, humans were on the moon, only they didn't use a rocket to get there. They used a door, a much more simple, safer, and cost-effective maneuver. Could you imagine strapping yourself to a giant rocket controlled by a computer with significantly less processing power than your toaster? The toaster can't even make toast right. So there you have it. You now know the truth about the moon landing. The next time life backs you into a corner, whether it be a dark alley, light glinting off the knives of your muggers, or figuratively, by your condescending, stupid-faced boss, remember the house with no door. Your problems aren't impossible. You simply need a new approach. Maybe you just need to bust through that wall, Kool-Aid Man style, and kick your problems in the teeth. Oh yeah! Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like or subscribe. You might also enjoy my book. It's called Sir Frugal and the Horned Magi. There's a link in the description. It's a satirical fantasy novella featuring an adventurer who isn't as smart as he thinks he is, and his talking goat sidekick. The ebook is less than $1, and it's also available in paperback. My mom likes it, and really, who else's opinion do you need? Wait, what's that, Mom? You only said that to not hurt my feelings. Cut the video. Cut the video.